Looking at the market rundown heading into Friday, January 6th. So the bulls bought the dip today. We did pull back and set a lower high and a lower low, but the middle Bollinger Band still holds, and we can see that long lower wick in the close, certainly closer to the high of the day than to the low of the day. So where we currently stand, I'm pretty much looking at a tightening range between the all-time high of 2277.53 and the middle Bollinger Band support 2258.84 and ascending fairly rapidly. So we're going to see one of those break, obviously, and whichever one breaks first is going to indicate short-term direction. We're either going to see a new all-time high and the bulls in full control, or a loss of this middle Bollinger Band support, which will have us looking at the low of the end of last year, 2233.62. You can see the Bollinger Bands are getting very tight, and as we look at IWM here in just a moment, those tight Bollinger Bands are restricting the movement for the bulls to break out. So it's going to require a high volume breakout to get above those upper Bollinger Bands. Otherwise, we're going to have to trade sideways a bit and wait for them to ascend and create more room to the upside. So the weekly time frame, we had a couple weeks of consolidation. You can see it's still very bullish on the weekly with the close up near the high currently. Obviously, we have one more trading day to go, but this certainly does favor the bulls. Increase in volume favors the bulls. Still just a 4-day week here. And here's IWM with that upper Bollinger Band that I was talking about. Got close to the all-time high, but 2 days in a row now, these bands are so tight, they're restricting the movement for the bulls, and they would pretty much have to see a high-volume breakout and a close above the upper Bollinger Band in order to get that new all-time high of 138.25. So we closed right on that middle Bollinger Band, just above it, 136.09. Same scenario with a make or break as this range tightens between the all-time high and the middle Bollinger Band. And the low we would be looking at if we lost that middle Bollinger Band is the low back here of 134.26. We didn't break that low of December 14th. The S&P 500 clearly did, and that's how we had some nice bearish plays to end 2016. Weekly chart for IWM still looks like a bull flag. Haven't broken out bullish above it, but definitely normal, healthy, controlled consolidation after a big-time breakout. QQQ on the daily time frame, very clearly the lead bull today due to this technology sector strength. And we closed up near the high of the day. So now we're looking at two levels, 121.19 and then all-time high 121.52. So we're not too far off now, catching up to the other two. Everybody is knocking on the door of the all-time high. We just need one final bull push here to get that going and to continue this strength that we've seen since the election. So the middle Bollinger Band support is catching up, 119.73. That'll be closer to 120 at the open tomorrow. Same scenario with these Bollinger Bands. That's going to be in the way of the all-time high, and it's going to require a high-volume breakout above the upper Bollinger Band or sideways trading while we wait for them to expand again. Weekly time frame for QQQ, that upper Bollinger Band on the weekly has been tough 3 weeks in a row. That's at 121.20, and we're going to have to break that to get the all-time high, or at least break it temporarily. So the bulls still very much in full control on the weekly here. It's the same scenario in all of these names. The weekly chart absolutely favors the bulls. The daily chart has tight Bollinger Bands, and we're watching middle Bollinger Band supports and all-time high resistances. So we'll see how we end the week and how we head into next week, but definitely a bullish note at this point. You can see the close at the high of the week right now on QQQ. IWM is the weakest on the weekly, and S&P 500 up near the high as well. I appreciate you watching. We'll check back in over the weekend. Have a wonderful night.